You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back. This is Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is also brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. Before we get back into our conversation with attorney Michael Clam about House File 1941 dealing with foreclosures in the state of Minnesota and how that will affect homeowner associations, I'd like to let our listeners know we've got a free gift for you. We put together a bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. A lot of what you're going to hear on the show, we covered in further detail in that newsletter. People that are on the show also are writers for that newsletter. So if you'd like to start receiving your copy free, give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori. She'll make sure that you start receiving your copy either electronically or by mail. We're talking about House File 1941, and we're talking about just some of the effects that this could have with homeowners associations. And Michael, we had to cut it off there. You were beginning to talk a little bit about how this bill would require that homeowner associations essentially cut a lot more slack to the person who has not been able to keep up with their obligations to the association. Do you think that there is a need or a reason for someone to have additional slack or additional time than they already have in this foreclosure process?
There certainly are some extraordinary circumstances in which a creditor, either out of generosity to a debtor or in perhaps its own interest, in that eventually they may be fully repaid if they work out some type of payment plan or loan modification. They might choose to do that as the creditor. But this is very different, where the statute or the proposed statute would assume that they should do that and make them give an explanation if they don't.
Well, to me, it seems like that what they have here is what they have in mind is what they are seeing perhaps with mortgage lenders and not a homeowners association. Quite often, what I see from my vantage point is that a number of homeowner associations have already tried numerous times in trying to put together repayment plans for people already. And this bill is not taking into consideration that there probably is, with a homeowners association, probably a lot more leeway that's already being offered to the homeowner than they even recognize.
That's my experience as well, Gene. I find that association boards generally bend over backwards to try to work with the owner to make arrangements so that they can pay their assessments. This is their neighbor in most cases, someone that they know personally, and it's a very difficult situation for the board to be in a situation where, on behalf of the association and the other members, they're forced to ultimately foreclose to collect that debt or to protect the interests of the association. So I really don't see a need for a statute to, give a third party, a mediator, the authority to make that determination whether there's a reasonable explanation for not doing more.
Now, let's talk a little bit, because just recently the Legislative Action Committee, the members of that, which is a part of the Community Associations Institute, has tried meeting with the chief author of the bill, which is Raymond Dean. Is that correct?
It's my understanding that a meeting took place. I didn't attend it myself, but I understand that they met and that the information was received that this is intended to apply to associations, both when they attempt to foreclose the association's lien and also if there's a mortgage foreclosure, to require the association to participate as a subordinate lien holder.
Yeah. So, and it seems like in that initial conversation, Mr. Dean was expressing that he was opposed to carving out anything for associations to be considered differently than other foreclosing entities through this whole process. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Yeah. And it seems that one of the other statements, and this was from one of our other colleagues in the Legislative Action Committee, they stated that Mr. Dean was said to be unmoved that other unit owners will be even financially impacted. So he doesn't see that that all of this is going to have any kind of serious consequences to other people in homeowner associations. I would imagine it's probably because, more than likely, he's probably someone who has not lived in an HOA, would be my guess. And looks like the other statement that I found kind of interesting, is that he said that he indicated also that there seems to be a lot of opposition coming forth against his bill, and he's surprised by that. There are a lot of people who aren't real happy with this bill other than homeowner associations. Can you name any others?
Well, I find the bill quite astonishing from the perspective of a real estate attorney. And I think the group that is most likely to be directly affected and to have the very greatest concern about it would be the mortgage banking or the mortgage lending industry, because it creates quite a bit of uncertainty for them. And I would expect that ultimately would result in, if this goes forward, in higher interest rates and higher qualification standards for mortgages, because foreclosure would become more difficult and less certain as a remedy.
Yeah. Let's talk about for our listeners who are listening, saying, I don't want to see this bill move forward. Let's talk about giving them some opportunities, how they can respond. We're both members of a great organization, the Community Associations Institute, and we have a website that I think will be something, if you're really interested in this or other issues that the state legislature might be dealing with, you can go online to www.cai-mn.com. And when you pull up the home page, you're going to find across the upper right-hand side a word that says legislative. If you click on that, it will pull down a menu, and you can hit the word advocacy. And then another page opens up, and you'll find out that there are a number of very interesting links. One of those will be to find out who's representing you at the state legislature, so that if there's someone who's going to be involved in any of these future committee meetings or in being able to talk to the authors of these bills, you'll be able to be connected, be able to get that information so that you can start sharing your concerns. Michael, that'll probably be a good place for a lot of people to keep referring back to, because as this bill progresses, additional information will be made available on that page. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I expect so.
Yeah. And, folks, with everything that we are going through here, this is probably one of the great reasons why it's worth to take the time to become a member of CAI, the Community Associations Institute. A membership fee for someone who is a homeowner or on a board of their HOA is only $114 a year. And then they cut even a bigger deal if the whole entire 5 board members wish to become involved and active with CAI. The cost is only $395. So that's a cost savings of over 30%. If you have more people, a 7-member board or a 9-member board, you save even more money. The education, the advocacy, connected with networking with others that are in similar positions on other boards with their associations, the access to the best of the industry. a list of vendors that you can use and call on. It is a great organization. And one that, Michael, you are the chapter president this year.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So it looks like we're coming to the end of this segment. I just wish to say, Michael, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show today and sharing your perspective.
Thanks. I enjoyed it.
Folks, that was attorney Michael Clem, attorney with the law firm of Doherty Melenda, Solfest, Hills, and Bauer. We're going to take a break, but don't go away. We've got one more segment of Where You Live after these messages.